Welcome to Common Sense Wellness with Dr. Gary Martin, the show that helps you take control of your health with clarity, confidence, and practical wisdom. Dr. Gary Martin has spent decades in clinical practice and natural wellness research, discovering that the key to lifelong vitality lies in understanding the body's signals before they become symptoms. Each week, we will explore simple science-backed methods like mineral testing, facial scans, and lifestyle adjustments that help you restore balance from the inside out. You'll also hear from expert guests and real clients who have turned their health challenges into stories of transformation. No gimmicks, no fads, just common sense wellness that works. Now, here's your host, Dr. Gary Martin.
Disclaimer, no diagnosis or treatment for disease is intended. Any observations or comments made by me are for general educational purposes only, and they simply represent my personal opinion regarding what I would do if I personally had the same concerns as the person voicing the question or comment. Please see a licensed health practitioner for all diagnosis, treatment, and information concerning prevention, cure, or restorative health care. I hold DN, DSC, PhD, DNM, and PhD degrees. I am not a medical doctor. I'm not a licensed health practitioner by choice. This information is for educational purposes only. It is not meant to cure, treat, prevent disease, nor prescribe, nor to be used for diagnosis. Please be aware that you accept all risks associated with any of the protocols that we discuss.
Welcome to Common Sense Wellness. I'm Dr. Gary Martin. Tonight, we're taking a close look at one of the most misunderstood minerals in the body, calcium. If you've ever seen a high calcium reading on a test, hair mineral analysis especially, and thought that was good news, stay with us because what that number is actually telling you might surprise you. We will also walk through a live BIA analysis of a COVID patient and see exactly how the numbers reveal which organs are under siege. Let's get into it.
Calcium lactate, it still behooves me. Why do you take that as opposed, the gentleman last week mentioned eggshell, but he said that eggshell calcium is alkaline. So, and I understand calcium lactate is acidic.
Well, yeah, the calcium lactate formula is designed to pull down. See, anytime your pHs go away from perfect, you have a calcium problem. But the problem is that you want to use a calcium that doesn't make your pHs worse. So there's different calcium formulas that were put together by Dr. Reams half a lifetime ago. And well, for me. And the calcium lactate formula, or cal lactate is the technical name of the product, cal lactate, will help pull down pHs. It'll supply the calcium that you need, but it'll help pull your pHs down because you only use it when your pH total is more than 13, normally. If I had a 5.4, well, no, but that still would be greater than 13. So we're okay there. All right. So, but if you were acid, let's say you had urine pH was 5.4, your urine and your saliva pH was 5.8 or something, you add that up and that would be like, 11 something. So you're well below that magic 12.8 to 13 magic zone for the pHs to be in. Then you wouldn't use cal lactate because if you use cal lactate, yes, you'd be in the calcium, but the formula is going to pull you down, and you don't want to be pulled down. You want to be pushed up. So that's why we have different calciums for different profiles.
On the mineral analysis, that hard shell with the calcium and all that, is there a point of that's in the wrong place? It's right, that calcium gone back into the bone.
Are you talking about when the calcium and magnesium are high, or let's just say calcium? Calcium is showing way high on your HMA?
Okay, yes.
Is that what you're saying or asking?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, what is hair is tissue? Skin is tissue. So if we're reading calcium's high, and we're talking about hair, then we're seeing that calcium is in the tissues. Well, where's calcium supposed to be? Well, I mean, calcium's everywhere, but let's just say predominantly, where's calcium supposed to be? In the bones. That's right. Right. So what you have is you have a migration of the calcium. It's leaving the bones. Technically, I guess you could say that's osteoporosis, leaving the bones, and it's moving outward in the body. And the reason why it's doing it is that when your body senses radiation, it feels like it's under attack. You might not feel you're under attack, but your cells feel like they're under attack. We just call that radiation. What is radiation? It is pain. It is inflammation, stress. It is literal, real radiation. Now, any or all those things, we just call it radiation. When the cells feel like it's under attack from any of that stuff, chemistry response to your body, from your body, is to mobilize calcium, and calcium moves outward in your body. And if it could, it would move clear outside you and create an eggshell all around you to protect you from what it feels as the radiation, because calcium's a good buffer. Well, we all know that it's not going to get any farther out than your skin. That's it. That's it. Can't get any farther out. Okay, well, so skin is tissue. Hair is tissue. So we pick it up in the hair. Well, but the problem is, if calcium's high, if it's in your tissues, well, then it's in your joints. And then sooner or later, you start waking up in the morning, and you're stiff. And then pretty soon the stiffness turns to pain. And then pretty soon you find that you got these weird bumps on your fingers, and, your fingers start going crazy, and, they ache and whatever. All right. So calcium ends up in your arteries. If it's in your arteries, then the arteries become hard, and they don't flex when your blood pressure therefore goes up, because it can't flex, especially when you're under stress and you want to go like that. Well, you can't go like that. So your blood pressure goes up because it's not being dissipated by the normal flexing. See, when we're young, when you're under stress and the arteries want to go like this, they just go like that. No big deal. Blood pressure just stays the same, whatever, even though we're really pressurized. Okay. If it's and then that leads to the blood pressure issues. If it's in the plaque, then you run the risk of stroke or heart attack, okay, because you plug up. Okay, but if it's in your tissues, it's in your heart. And then pretty soon they say, well, gee, you have atrial fibrillation, which is a regular heartbeat. Or you have, let's say, a mitral valve prolapse, or you have congestive heart failure. That's all the same. It's all the same problem. Okay, fancy words, same problem. So if it's in your heart, then it's in your brain. And it interferes with brain function. And so it starts out with, where did I put my keys? And then as the years goes on, pretty soon it's, what's my name? So high calcium on a HMA is a really bad thing, and you want to fix it. That is just, if you have it, you want to fix it, because it means that you're under stress and you need to learn how to deal with the stress better than you're dealing with it, which is my favorite remedy is mammogram processing. So just because calcium's high on the hair, tying it back to the question about the calcium or whatever, you don't know without the BIA which calcium is best. You don't know. You're better off if you're never going to know, if you're never going to do a BIA, if you're never going to know that about yourself, and you have high calcium, you're just better off not taking any calcium. Don't make the problem worse. Because if you take the wrong kind for your body chemistry, you will make it worse. It'll just keep on going higher and higher, and pretty soon one day you plug up and you wake up dead.
So what I don't understand is, if calcium's leaving the bone and you're testing lactate, how does it know to go into the bone as opposed to further into the tissue?
Is a question for God.
Okay, but you just said if you CIA will tell you which one, But
yeah, because see, part of your problem is a pH problem. If you've got high calcium, actually, if you have really high calcium or really low calcium on the HMA, you have a pH problem. You just don't know what it is without the BIA. Or without getting a pH meter like we use in the client lab kit, or to do the test and test your pHs. Well, of course, then you would know.
The answer to her question is in the fact that
if you all this calcium in your tissue, it means you have. Apparently, you started out with enough calcium, but now because of whatever factor, it's migrating outwardly. What's the attraction to just pull it back into the bone? Like, is that vitamin K?
Yeah, vitamin K, vitamin D.
But is that more of the right, like you're saying, like you don't, EIA will tell you which one to use, but is there a point where it's a neutral thing where all you need to do is you got enough, just bring it back where it belongs?
Well, that'll naturally happen if you can control the pHs. See, it's pH centered.
The correct calcium will correct the pH to put it back where it belongs.
Right. Exactly right.
So that's more of a quicker fix, and you're more direct. But you don't. What's in the back of my mind? Am I going to overdo the calcium?
If you overdo the calcium, you're going to see it on your next HMA.
Or BIA.
Yeah, well, you can't see, well, yes, because the pHs aren't doing what they're supposed to do. So you are constantly juggling to try to keep those pHs as close to perfect or balanced for whatever the numbers are as possible, because that's the driver.
pHs.
Yeah. Just like the pH of your blood, can only vary by a few tenths or you're dead. That's why the body will rob Peter to pay Paul for years to make sure nothing goes wrong with the blood or nothing even shows up wrong in your blood. Even when you're half dead, you do, blood work and,
So now you're, okay, but when you're doing the HMA, you'll find imbalances in it. It seems, are you more directed to get that imbalance through the food that we are eating? Is that your main route?
Yeah, it's possible. The problem is that you can accomplish with targeted supplementation, you can accomplish in weeks or months, which would take months or years just by diet. So yeah, you can do it if you have enough time, if you have enough patience.
Now, okay, but like myself, it seems like you did not give me a lot of minerals. You gave me a lactate.
I try to do. I've been in the supplement world for, 40 years or something like that. I mean, I have created hundreds and hundreds of formulas for this and that and the other and whatever. But when it comes right down to it, I'm anti-supplement. I mean, that's hard to believe, but I am. Basically, right. Why I've been in the supplement business? Because talking to people like we're talking tonight doesn't pay. You can't even pay the rent. People are still willing to spend $100 for something that they read about that looks like and sounds like it might help them, before they'll spend $100 and get some kind of, professional guidance as to whether or not they even need that product in the first place, or it could even make things worse. It's just bananas. And it's still true today. It's just great. It's one of the reasons why I closed my clinic after 20 years. I closed my clinic in 1994, closed the clinic after 20 years of operating that thing because I was exhausted. And what we did was we did an audit, and we found out that the clinic itself, with all the labor and with all the time and whatever, and seeing the people and whatever, that at best, that whole situation was a break-even thing, which means that at the end of the month, we paid the rent and then we paid the help and we paid the light bill and whatever. But it was, and whatever money there was, whatever profit, guess where it came from? The supplements that people bought. People will turn down, will say, you really need this test. Well, yeah, but it's $200-$300. And then 5 minutes later, they're shelling out $200-$300 for something that they got in the mail and they read about it and, oh, that looks really good and whatever. And then they order it and it just blows my mind. So the only reason why I'm on here tonight is because this is what I really, really like to do. So guess what? I've learned how to do what I don't really like to do in order to be able to afford to do what I love to do. Craziness. But it's all set up because that's how our system works. The whole big pharma system has done a wonderful job of brainwashing everybody. Here, take this pill. This is your answer.
Thank you for joining me tonight on Common Sense Wellness. If what you heard got you curious about your own numbers and what they might look like, the Client Lab Kit is the place to start. The test only takes 10 minutes to do when you know what you're doing. Test for 7 things, 7 very important things that they're not tests. This is not a medical test. It's a pre-diagnostic tool. So that is why, as I said, the test only takes 10 minutes to do. It gives you more information than most people get in a year of doctor visits. So until next time, stay well and stay curious.
Thanks for listening to Common Sense Wellness with Dr. Gary Martin. To learn more about the testing and resources we discussed, or to find out how you can take charge of your own health, visit BIRI.org. You'll find valuable information, free tools, and ways to connect directly with our wellness community. That's BIRI.org. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe and share the show with someone who's ready to take their next step toward better health.